If you find that your spray gun is not performing as well as it used to, it may be time to install a repair service kit. This video will take you step by step in the installation of these parts. For this repair, you will need a repair service kit, part number 5652, spray gun lubricant, a 10mm Allen, a spray gun wrench, and a pick tool. To start, remove the fluid adjust knob, followed by the fluid needle spring. Next, remove the needle, pull the trigger back, then pull the needle out of the back of the spray gun. Moving on to removing the air cap. And then the fluid nozzle. Using your 19 on the gun wrench or 19mm wrench, turn counterclockwise to loosen, and then remove the rest of the way by hand. Next, we're going to remove the trigger. To do this, we're going to remove the E-stopper. Using a pick tool, you want to hook on the inside and then pull away from the open area, keeping your fingers close so the E-stopper does not fly away. Next, remove the trigger stud. To do this, push on the side where you just removed the E-stopper and pull out of the side of the gun. After that, pull down on your trigger to remove. Next, we're going to remove the cartridge packing. To remove this, use the number 10 on your gun wrench or a 10mm wrench. Turn counterclockwise to loosen, and remove the rest of the way by hand. Once this is removed, you can then remove the air valve shaft. To remove, slide out, and then pull bottom out first. Now we're going to remove the fluid adjust guide set using the number 14 on your gun wrench or 14mm wrench. Turn counterclockwise to loosen, and then move the rest of the way by hand. Once it's completely loose, remove the air valve and air valve spring along with the fluid adjust guide set. The last piece that needs to be removed is the air valve seat set. It is inside the body of the gun. Using a number 10 Allen wrench, slide it into the air valve seat set and turn counterclockwise to remove. Make sure you use a proper size Allen wrench and slide it firmly into place to prevent it from stripping and making it difficult to remove this piece. Here's a look of the broken down spray gun and all the parts we have removed. It's always a good idea to keep them neat and organized to prevent losing any parts. The first thing you want to do before starting reassembly is replace these parts with your 5652 kit. The fluid adjust guide seat set, needle stud, E-stopper, air valve spring, needle spring, and cartridge packing. The first step in the reassembly process is to install the air valve seat set. Take your spray gun lubricant and put a drop over your O-ring and the threads. Work the lubricant around the piece to coat it completely. Take your 10mm Allen wrench and insert it to the air valve seat set. Then take your spray gun body and insert it into the back of the spray gun. Apply slight pressure, then turn clockwise to tighten. Tighten the air valve seat set just to where it stops and is flush with the front of the spray gun. Do not over tighten or you could damage the part. Next is the air valve and spring and fluid adjust guide assembly. We're going to start with the air valve shaft. Take a drop of lube, put it on the back of the shaft, and then spread evenly. Take your air valve spring and fluid adjust guide set, put them together and install as one unit. Slide into the back of the spray gun, slight pressure, and turn clockwise to tighten. Using your gun wrench or a 14mm wrench, tighten slightly. Now we'll install the air valve shaft. Take the shaft and your spray gun lube, put a drop, and coat thoroughly over the entire piece. The air valve shaft slides into the air valve seat set. Take your time working it in so you do not damage the air valve seat set. Once it's installed, check to make sure it moves freely. Now install the cartridge packing. It goes right in front of the air valve shaft. Slide it in and turn clockwise to tighten it. Screw it in as tight as you can by hand. Then use your gun wrench or a 10mm wrench to tighten slightly. Do not over tighten or your needle will not install properly and you could damage the packing. The next step is the trigger. Take the trigger, slide it over the gun body in between the cartridge packing and the air valve shaft. Then take your trigger stud and insert it through the back of the spray gun, pushing it forward. Next is the stopper. Place it on the trigger in front of the trigger stud. Use your pick tool to align the stopper exactly where you need it. Then push up on the stopper while covering it with your fingers to make sure it doesn't slide around. Once it's on, just double check to make sure it's secure. From here, we're going to install the fluid nozzle. Take your fluid nozzle and your lube. Place a drop on your threads and one on the very tip. Insert it to the front of the spray gun and turn clockwise to tighten. Use your gun wrench or 19mm wrench to tighten down the rest of the way. Just make sure it's snug, no need to torque it down. Now we're going to install the air cap. We're going to take the air cap and the lube. We're going to place a drop on the threads and in the tiny holes. This will help paint from building up. Place it on front of the spray gun, turn clockwise and hand tighten only. The last step is to install the needle. Once again, take your spray gun lube, put a drop on the needle, and using your fingers, coat it completely. Install it through the back of the gun. It might take a little bit of pressure to get it in with all the new parts, but if you're finding it does not slide in, you may have your packing too tight. Then install your fluid needle spring, and lastly your fluid adjust knob. Put slight pressure and turn clockwise. Your spray gun rebuild is now complete and ready to head back into full-time use. Thanks for watching. We hope you found this video helpful and informative. Please leave us any comments below on any future content you'd like to see come from us. Make sure you subscribe and also follow us across all social media platforms.